January day, life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun a new, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn.
Hi. So nice to see you. Oh, we have a pupper in the background here. Say hello, Luca. You want to come say hello to the peoples? He's like, no, Mama, leave me alone. It's too hot to be next to you. You radiate too much heat. That's what he was saying in his voice. Good boy. I know. Even in my house, it's toasty, and the living room I'm in gets the afternoon sun, and so it's difficult to keep it cool, but we're good, and I have no complaints. So we're not going to whine when so many people have it worse, right? So happy Thursday, um, July 24th, 2025, and I can't believe that we have one more week and July's over. Now, before everybody shoots me, I find, hello, Elizabeth, the more intuitive me. Um, for me, August is like the symbol of the oncoming fall. So I really have to reshape my brain and allow myself to remember I still have another full month of summer. Um, but I'm sure some of you have noticed, but it is getting darker earlier. And yes, it's still light out until about 8:30 here where I am, but I really liked it being light out until 9 o'clock. For somebody who struggles with depression and the blues, um, it helps to have the light longer. I've been having trouble sleeping, and so this morning, I don't know, what was it, 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. Excuse me while I get myself seated correctly. Um, the sun, there was daylight, and the birds were singing and communicating with each other, and I was like, okay, great, daylight. Damn, when do I fall asleep? And I finally fell asleep. I got about an hour and a half in, and then I surrendered to the day, and all day long I wanted to take a nap. And I was just telling a friend of mine, I'm like, do I take a nap at 6 p.m. after this is done? No, but I really want to. My eyes are heavy. So I'm sure, there are those of you that, B, thank you for being here. I'm sure there's some of you that also know what it feels like to just have the drudgeries. And for me, when I take a sleeping pill, it actually creates additional depression for me and lethargy. And so it makes it difficult for me to, you know, use my get up and go kind of Pollyanna attitude. I'm more like, caveman dragging my dinner behind me with my club in my hand, like, okay, I got to keep going. So, anyway, I know I'm a little bit crazy, right? Um, so, let's just take a breath here. And today I'm doing a combination of conversations. Hello, Indigo. Thank you for being here. I love seeing you guys here. I really do. It makes me so happy. Please like um, the video, and if you are so inclined, please subscribe. I think most of you are, but figured I'd just throw that out there. But there's so many things that I like to talk about. And I wanted to kind of recap a little bit because I've been struggling with depression. I've been struggling with motivation, procrastination, queen procrastinator. Um, and part of that, Tina, hello. Thank you for being here. I just want to hug each and every one of you for being here. Um, I if you could have seen me pre-2016, and I use that date because that's the year my mom passed, I was fierce. I was a warrior. I was a champion. I was kicking ass and taking names, and mainly caring for my mom. And everything was organized except for my bedroom. And that was pretty much the only chaotic room at the time. Now, whatever room my mom stayed in, like if she spent the day in the living room, the dining room, those were a little messy, but always cleaned at the end of the day for the most part. Kitchen was cleaned at the end of the day for the most part. I live in a smaller home, and it's sheer chaos. I've been here 3 years now, and I'm still in freaking boxes. Karen Suki, hello. So I think that part of it for me has been disorientation. And this word came not by my will. I was talking with a friend today, and she used this word, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel disoriented. It's not just energetic, but a lot of it is energetic. It's spiritual, it's physical, it's emotional. And a lot of it is self-imposed, guys. So there's no pointing the finger or blaming anybody in this discussion today for me. And so I just want to know, it's kind of like, let's embrace the messy middle of our lives, right? We we have this space of who we were, or at least this is for me, right? This is who I was and who I'm still becoming, but I'm not there yet. I'm on the road. My car broke down, so I'm hoofing it. So it's not going as fast as I would like, right? But it's still my sacred journey. And I wonder where you guys feel like you are in your life. Now I'm also older, I think, than pretty much everybody in the chat. I'm 62. I feel, and I've been unemployed for a few years since my heart attack. So I'm in retirement, which is a very uncomfortable place. Don't rush to get there if you don't have to, because having a purpose and activity each and every day I highly recommend it just from my personal experience. And I do want to say, guys, everything in these conversations that we have, I am not a medical professional. I'm not a therapist. I don't even play one on YouTube. I'm an experiencer, right? I experience these things. Oh, you have me beat, Karen? Okay. Well, love you anyway, sister. We're that other generation that most people don't talk about. The boomers. I'm so there today, Christy says, feeling very in the middle. I'm going to be 50 in 6 months. My body is different and everything is different. Amen and hallelujah, girl. I'm telling you, again, my girth, I'm expanding. I used to call me skinny little Minnie with the meatball nose, and so it's really hard. Tina says, when my friends get like this, they call me at 3 a.m. crying and asking me to help clean their house. Wow. Okay. Well, Tina, um, I'd be embarrassed for you to come and help me clean my house. I'm not a dirty girl, but I'm still in boxes. I have excess of stuff that I thought I was going to do these variety of businesses. So I have extra stuff. And now I'm in the process of purging, gifting. I have all these Coach bags. I used to be a prolific Coach shopper, and some I have never used, and I'm not giving them away, right? I spent a lot of money on those bags. I am not going to sell them for what they're worth. I will cut them in half or more, but I'm still not giving those damn bags away. So I have to research Pochmark, and I have to. Hi, Tanya. Love you. Thank you for being here. You guys, Tuber Chat. So nice to see you guys. So, it's this feeling of being messy and in the middle. I'm not who I was, and I'm not where I'm going to get to yet. So I love having these conversations because it tickles the mind, it challenges the mind, it keeps me honest, because when you're a procrastinator, it's for multiple reasons. The inactivity that I feel in my heart sometimes, it's like paralyzing. And yes, I did just lose my dad. And yes, I'm preparing for his celebration of life next month. And yes, I'm I'm attempting to write. I'll show you. We did this for my uncle. I don't think anybody can really see it. And it's like a little memory card with a story about him and then photos. I think I'm going to do a brief little thing because I can't really come up with what to say about my dad, but I have tons of pictures. So I'm flip-flopping. I'm still in the grief, but it's not a profound grief. It's not a paralyzing grief like it was for my mom. It's not debilitating. I'm sad, but we were in a different place in our lives. And I've been in a different healing journey for years. And I forgave a lot silently and auditorily, But when I forgave issues, the responder, my dad, didn't see them in the same way. So for me in my growth, the forgiveness had to come from within. I had to release it because you can't change another person. Shocking, it only took me 62 years to acknowledge that, you can't change people. You can only change yourself, how you respond, how you intend to behave, and how you intend to receive information, at least for me. Let me I want to just pop into the comments because some of you are just putting some really good stuff in there. And let me get my glasses. I don't know who I think I am without my glasses. Coach is an amazing brand. Yes, don't give those away. Yes, I know. Indigo said, I'm in the process of downsizing my current apartment. It's insane how much I have, and I'm only 35. I feel like I purge every summer and still have more to purge. So I totally respect that. I have been a collector of books in the old days, CDs and videotapes. I don't have those anymore. The CDs I still have left. I have in a binder kind of thing, and that makes it much easier to store and access. Because if I have them, I want to play them. It's the other stuff that I purchased over the years to fill that hole in my heart and to make me feel special and loved and cared for. They were false, but that's how I coped. I was not a drinker. I don't do drugs. I never really did drugs. Um, and I'm the kind of girl that if I take a half an Ambien before I go to bed, I better be in the bed or I'll fall asleep wherever I am. I don't stay asleep, but I'll fall asleep. Um, so, yes. Let me just come back. I want to just go back through some of these. Yeah, Christy and Indigo. It's it's great to see these things. And Karen says um, she's finally down to her ideal weight, which God bless you, and I admire that. Um, but why don't I look more like I used to? And look, I've seen even the most fantastic regularly aged women, meaning not cosmetically aged. Um, and it's just age. You know, I could lose all the weight I want, but my body is not going to be the same. Now, having said that, my body could be stronger and will be stronger because that is my commitment to me. I'm on a more healthful eating. And I've been finding, and I don't know if anybody else finds this, maybe on this energetic, sorry, let me move the comic, on this energetic journey and healing journey I've been on, I'm not interested in so much meat anymore. So my protein intake is a little bit different. And I really need to work on that and incorporate more things into my life that are more healthy. But I can tell you, my dad was a butcher. I grew up on meat, pork chops, chicken, veal, of course, beef, and lamb. My taste buds are not the same, or these meats are so injected with crap that they don't taste the way that I remember them tasting. So I struggle with finding good proteins. Um, and I'm very lucky right now. The lettuce in my garden has been growing, so I'm eating lots of salads. Pretty soon, I'm going to have more cucumbers than I know what to do with, and more tomatoes than I know what to do with, and I can't wait. Um, so that part of it is very exciting. Um, Christy says, I wrote my dad's eulogy, hardest thing that you've ever done. Sending thank you. For me, you had the relationship with your dad, Christy, I think that I had with my mom. So for me, that was a much more powerful and impactful death. I still mourn my dad, but I'm not living in that grief, if that makes sense. I lived in the grief with my mom. That's what triggered my heart event. And for those of you that may or may not know, a couple of years after my mom passed, during that transition, I had also lost my job. So no longer was I caregiving, but I no longer had a job. I had no more purpose in my life at that time. And I decided in 2017 I would take a sabbatical from work to try to figure out what I wanted. And I found Reiki and became a practitioner. I studied it. It took some time. And shortly, 2019, I had a massive heart event and I died. And so I had something called SCAD, spontaneous coronary artery dissection. And the blood pooled behind my heart, causing Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, which basically I pancaked my heart, blood poured out of it. And as all of this was happening, I just turned to my cardiologist in the emergency room. I got myself there in time. And I said, I'm going to pass out, and died. Obviously, I'm here, so I'm not dead. But the experience was twofold. One, it left me not being able to go back to work. Mostly what I have is it's emotional. And the other piece to that, there was so many things that happened. I ended up going bankrupt. I lost my beautiful home. My just life lessons that led me to continue this journey into healing, into energy work, into understanding the universe a little bit more and what God means to me, what source is, what, you know, anyway, there was a lot of life lessons, and I'd love to chat about that sometime. But anyway, I was purposeless for a long time, and a friend who had helped my mom with hypnosis to be able to take some medication said to me, "Come work for me for a little while." And then she helped me become a certified hypnotherapist. Though that didn't work out for us, she had a small business and could not have as many employees as she did. And when I was let go from that, I really sort of just threw my hands up and went, what the heck? That was not the adjective I used. And I think as I was on my journey, a lot of responses from family and from friends impacted my journey. My initial, I call it rebirth, I was light in spirit. I was optimistic and positive, and I wanted to hold on to that so tightly because I didn't want to go back to feeling so lost and depressed and alone and defeated. And I'm back in that spiral of fighting it on a regular basis. And I'm in the process of doing something new, and I'll talk about that at some other point in time. But it's helping me to tap into really the change comes from within. Excuse me, I need some tea. And I think, I'm looking forward to having conversations with my fellow creators. I think all of you that I've encountered have something to contribute to the channel, to each other, to ourselves. And so I think the messy middle where we may be, and some people are where they need to be, and they're on the trajectory to being influencers with information. I'm still in that learning stage. I know things, but I still consider myself very much an experiencer of life, of grief, of trauma, of shame, and sorrow and joy. I have a lot of joy. I get joy from watching my darn puppies chase each other and little Luca grabbing his brother's tail and thinking that it's going to come off and hanging on for dear life. So those are the things that I think I have to offer. But when it comes to this period of time and decluttering, it's a physical decluttering and an emotional decluttering. And that's what I've been experiencing. And I see more intuitive me. I had a Vera Bradley phase that she went through, and she had crates of stuff. I know I have yarn as well. I was for a long time knitting and have a problem with my hands, so I can't knit at the moment. I make soap. I make homemade butter. I'm learning how to make cream cheese. My first attempt did fail brilliantly, mind you, but it failed. There's things that I'm learning that I want to do. I thought I would have enough vegetables to can this year. I'm not going to, but there are things that I choose to learn how to do for self-sufficiency, for health. But the decluttering of stuff was the old me. That is somebody who is in my rear view. And I'm proud to say that. I couldn't have said that a year ago. I struggled with as limited budget as I'm on. I used that money and even got myself again into some credit card debt, not dramatic, but still debt, because I needed to feel valued. I'm like, what in the world, girl, are you doing with this crap? So Big Brothers and Big Sisters here in the U.S. has been getting bags and bags and bags of stuff for me, and I have more to go through, and I have more pots and pans and things that I'm purging. Let's see. Karen said, when I was 30, I moved to Tucson, pulling one small U-Haul behind my VW Rabbit. Wow. Now I would require a jumbo dumpster to purge. Isn't that funny? I it is easy to accumulate. It is very difficult to eliminate. When I stopped vaping, I gained 20 pounds, and it makes me sad because now it's hard for me to get back to where I was. I want to cheerlead you that we can do this. We're never going to be maybe skinnier or what we were, but we can be healthier versions of ourselves. And the one thing that I've had to talk to myself about is moving. I'm a great couch potato. I have a college degree in it, and I never had that before. But being in this house, in this apartment, without a job, has allowed me, allowed is the wrong word, but I have become a couch potato because it was safer, in my opinion, to just stay hidden. And I find that interesting that I have gained some weight, and I'm like, my eating habits I thought improved, but my exercise habits did not. So you did a great thing. Congratulations by stopping vaping. I hope you can be proud of that accomplishment and make a small change. One small change with your food, if food is what's causing weight gain, or is it inactivity? And for me personally, it's inactivity. And I'm going to be hosting a friend on the channel next month, I hope. I hope our calendars work well. She is a menopause expert, and she will talk about what the hell our hormones have done to our bodies, and she looks fabulous, and she's done this the natural way. And what I mean by that is she's not doing the injections, and there is no judgment on anyone that is. I am not. I need to do it for myself in a more healthful way. And so however anybody chooses to take care of their bodies, that is your choice. Let's see. Okay, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, cheerleading. I'm so proud of you guys for cheerleading each other on. It means a lot. I didn't really eat red meat before, Christy says. Salmon and tuna, that's about it for meat, and only every so often. I do hear a lot of people talking about eating less meat on the path. I'm thrilled about that, to be honest with you, because it's outrageously expensive. Karen only eats fish and dairy now, mostly against factory farming. I'm fortunate living close to where my meat is raised and butchered. So there is hey, Victor, there is a local place here that if I choose to get meats moving forward, I really want to support local business. So, if I'm really going to be in the mood for that, that's where I will go. All right, let me just, I see Karen's here. Oh, did I see a different Karen? Or is it the same Karen? Oh, it's the same Karen. Okay, great. I always wanted my dad to have an NDE because he was an atheist. So Karen, I will tell you, and this probably isn't the time to talk about it, but my near-death experience didn't bring me to God. I already had light and love in my heart for God, what I define as God, but there were no angels that I was aware of talking to me. There was no God or Jesus that came to me and said, go back. I felt safe, but I was in darkness. There was no choir of angels and light blaring at me. And for the longest time, I thought, What does that mean? And I still don't know what it means, and I don't think I have to know what it means. Living an authentic life, living my life the way I want others to respect and treat me is, if I treat you with kindness, even if you poop on me, I'm still going to treat you with kindness. You may not be in my Rolodex, but I don't want to live my life being angry anymore. Being angry takes so much energy. Being unhappy, being an atheist doesn't mean that you don't believe there's something else out there in the world. But traditional faith, and this is not the channel for this today or the time for this today, I would challenge people that things have been humanified for profit. People have talked about this, and let's just say that there are other life forms out in the world, in the universe, and they've come down to Earth. That will totally disrupt, I think, almost every religion. And the faithful will have a crisis of consciousness and of faith, because what were they told their whole lives? I have a more open view, and I believe that there's others out there in the world, in the universe, in the great beyond. I don't know if I would be freaked out to encounter, probably at first, but I'd like to believe that I would be open because I expect it. We cannot be alone. We may be alone as humans. Other life forms may not be human, but I think there's so much out there, and I almost look forward to what that may mean, and I hope I get to find that out. Yes, we are still learning. All right, Aria, thank you for being here. I'm just going to quickly scroll through. Declutter, because my mom has a hoarding issue. Yeah, look, having and being in clutter for me was and is debilitating. It prevents me from taking the steps forward that I need to take forward. And that's on me. And I'm working on it every single day. So, and I'm getting better, but the best thing for me is not adding to what I have. Except in the garden, but most of what I put into the garden grows. So I don't consider that hoarding. Okay. What was this? I have always had some clutter. It's just my nature, I think. I like shiny, sparkling things. But now, with chronic fatigue, I have no energy to purge. I'm sorry. I feel like my lethargy is debilitating. I can't imagine what chronic fatigue must do. So I'm sending you so much love and light, and hope that there is a solution for you. Your sister used to call you an old crow? Oh my God. It's kind of funny. I hope that's kind of funny. All right, so where am I here? Yeah, I know, Tina. There's so much. I'd love to have this conversation with people. There's so much misconception and so much bastardization of the Bible and the stories that were told. And at the moment, I only see Victor here as our lone male participant today, but that doesn't mean someone's not in the background. It's men were and are afraid of women assuming power. So they are intimidated that we can create life. And so we need to be put in our place. I struggle with this, and I try to send love and light and healing in that direction. So, that's just my 2 cents. I And that was hard for me to sort of shed the old beliefs because I really wanted to be a nun. I saw beauty in that. And I have to say, Mother Teresa was a huge inspiration to me. I thought, my God, this woman has sacrificed everything for others. So, um, having now being on a different path, it's just amazing. Um, yeah, Karen, I read the Bible as well. And, I have for a long time, and I've studied it differently and with different other teachers. And um, I still I still feel like the message of Jesus for me is about the way of love. It is not judgment. It is not um, come and worship me. And I think that we have been led to look to leaders and not within. And I do believe the divine is within. That's just my 2 cents. So, and being in this messy middle that we're in, it's just a path. It's not a detour. It's just a path for me anyway. It's just a path. And I get to create a new way. And that's the journey that I've just recently started. Um, and then, for me, there's energy in our words, right? We've talked about this. So hang on. Christy says, I'm very fortunate that the men in my life, including Ben and Victor, honor women. I try to focus on that and not what I had. So my experience also with Ben and Victor and Josh, all, absolutely. I think, at least from this YouTube world, they represent positive male role models. Um, so it's kind of nice to see. It has not been my experience, and that's something that I don't mind witnessing. But when we talk about our words, right? We what we speak, even casually, carries energy. And I've been known to be a sassy pants, and I usually have a dig about myself in conversations. And I have to work really hard not to say those negative things because I don't want to speak them into existence. Think about, I'm so tired. I'm not good at that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not going to get through this. These are phrases that they might feel harmless, but they're really not. They become affirmations, they become self fulfilling prophecies. So let's invite the positive words. I'm tired. Let me take some breaths in and let me re energize myself. And look, like I said, I haven't slept in a couple of days for more than 2 or 3 hours. Tonight, I am going to sleep for 5 hours straight. That's my gift to myself. I will sleep for 5 hours tonight. I absolutely am going to sleep for 5 hours straight, uninterrupted tonight. Now, why do I pick 5 hours? Because I'm going to have to pee. And that's part of my aging process. But, and I've been eating watermelon, so I have to stop, and I have stopped so that by the time I do go to bed, um, you know, I will not have to get up 300 times. But I have a habit of falling asleep around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm up from midnight until 5 a.m. So, I'm working on that as well. And part of that, dear ones, is not exercising. So this is all part of my new path that I'm working. And I almost would challenge each of you. Is there a phrase or something that you say about yourself in a not so positive way each day. I mean, I remember listening to the voices and thinking, yeah, you're not pretty. And now every single day, I don't care what I look like when I get up in the morning. I'm like, good morning, beautiful. How are you today? I say this to myself. No one else is going to say it to me because I'm on my own right now. And if someone were to say that to me in this house, I would probably freak out. Um, so it's, good morning, beautiful. And when I'm stretching in the morning before I get up and my puppies are there, it's like it's a love fest because I want to start my day out with love. And it is easy to fall back into old patterns. So I'm asking, take a phrase that you've been saying lately that feels heavy and reframe it. Instead of being overwhelmed, I'm so overwhelmed with everything I have to declutter. I am learning to purge those items that don't serve me, and I feel good. And that, reframing it is, instead of being stuck, I am in a sacred pause. I'm going to give myself some time and heal. Hello, Jimena. Thanks for joining in. And so just try to find, if you can, your words and catch yourself. And sometimes that's the first step. Me devaluing myself and my words about me, that has to change here first before people out in the world recognize she is pretty smart. Oh my God, look, she's a good gardener. Oh my gosh, she made the best butter. Positive things. If we change those words, it we are essentially manifesting the direction we want to walk. So messy middle, I'm in the messy middle. I'm no longer who I was, but I'm not where I want to be yet. So in order to get where I want to be, I keep talking about wanting to live in the light and in love and in community and compassion. And, um, you know, how can I do that if I'm denigrating myself? How can I raise somebody else up if I'm putting myself down? And so speak those positive words. And I know we've talked about this before. Ben's here. Hello, Ben. We were just complimenting you, Ben, you and Victor, being positive male role models. And so I would say speak with love when you speak about yourself. If you speak to your higher self, speak with love. And I yell at my higher self a lot, but I always say, I love you. I love you, but what the bloody hell were you thinking putting me back down here? Why did I choose this? And I go around in a circle and I come back into love and I'm like, I know I chose this. I'm going to be better. So I think that, find the opportunities every day to say something good about yourself, and reframe those words that are less than elevating you. And along these lines, it's sort of the conditioned response versus our higher self wisdom, right? So the difference between acting or reacting from conditioning and responding from a higher source. Our responses are rooted in fear, survival, old narratives, right? I mean, I could give you a history of things that were said to me over my lifetime that I encoded into my DNA and had it become me. And I didn't have value to myself until this last year. This last year. my 61st year. Now I'm in my 62nd year, but 61 was a revolutionary year in the sense that I had to reclaim my own worth. I have value. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but what you say or feel about me isn't as important as how I feel and what I say about me. Right? So these conditioned responses, oh my God, you're wearing that? Or, oh my God, you're wearing that? Can have two different tones and different responses. So being aware of it can trigger you into a certain a different response. And then we go down that path and we might get snarky, we might be mad, we might be heart hurt, we may be wounded. And I would challenge you to stop and put your hand on your heart and remind yourself that you are valued, that you are appreciated, that you are worthy, that you are deserving. And breathe before anything else comes out of you. Because I have many well-intentioned people that are like, oh, are you going to start exercising? That's their way of saying, you look fat. And what the hell are you doing? I have a mirror. I know what my body's doing. I don't need that negative comment. How about, and this isn't my journey to teach them this, but in my head, the thought is, well, you might want to get a mirror because you ain't looking so fine. But that's the hurt wounded me. And it's really about how you feel about yourself. So that's what I would say. Putting that out there to yourself. I don't know if I know what that means. I'm going to. Yes. Elizabeth, the more. So what she is saying here is a step-by-step process to reclaim the bits of you that have been lost over the years, or you may never have had them. If you've been conditioned from childhood to believe a certain thing about yourself, you may not have those words. And so it is finding what you have value in and how you see your reflection. And I think that's what we talk about. And I mentioned it earlier this week and I've been talking about it a lot. You can't look outside yourself for that validation or the resolution. It has to come from within. We can't look at our political leaders, our religious leaders, our teachers for the answers to our journey. They may have information and you need to discern if it's appropriate for you, right? But it's you. Whether it's the 4 agreements that I've talked about here, whether it's the Mel Robbins Let Them, whether it is, I just started a new book. I was going to bring it to the channel. I know it's backwards, The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'll let you know how it is. Maybe we'll talk about it. But it's all starts with us and our words. And maybe that's the journey. We had to get our tushies kicked in our 20s and 30s in order for us to evolve and accept and understand and comprehend that, wait a minute, I have value. I have value. I'm a contributor to society. And just that one word that I may give someone else, oh my gosh, I could make someone's day. Or I could have someone stop pulling the trigger, whether it's a physical weapon, whether it's a verbal weapon, whether it's an attitude. Sometimes saying one nice thing to somebody can elevate them so much that moment of anger and hostility and negativity or whatever it is, self-doubt, will change. I like that idea. I like putting out into the world, to the lowliest of the low, you have value. You look great today. One small compliment. Thank you so much for opening the door. Thank you so much for holding the door. Whatever it is, even just a simple hello sometimes can elevate someone who doesn't feel seen. Every time I go into the Walmart and I see the greeter, hi, how are you today? And I literally wait for that person to say, fine, great, great job, thanks so much. And off I go. One small thing, that person will remember that all day long. It carries us through. Hey, Lindsay, so glad you're here. And I don't think I've missed anyone. I really hope I haven't. But I think, I like that guy. I have The Alchemist. The Alchemist is written by, oh, geez, I forget his name. I should look it up. The Alchemist book. Hold on, it's coming. And it was written by dun 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 Paul Coelho. I know I read it a long time ago, but I couldn't tell you today what it's about. So it might be worth another read. I was conditioned by my parents, other children. I don't claim them only because they were jealous AF. I just figured it out. Yeah, I mean, we're conditioned by our surroundings. I was conditioned by religion and being a good girl. And being a good girl, if it didn't measure up to their standards, I was a hoe. In my thoughts and my words and what I did and what I didn't do, I was considered a bad girl. And that was before I even knew anything about boys. Everything was in my thoughts and in my words, and that registered here for years. God does not love a sinner. God does not accept you into heaven. You are going to hell. And there was a time in my college years, I'm like, fine, I'm just going to drive the fucking bus and I'm going to take us all there. And I got a whole bunch of friends that are going to go with me. So screw you. And that was my attitude because it was the defense mechanism. I'm like, I'm not even doing anything bad. Who are you to tell me that my thoughts or my words or what I was doing was bad? I felt bad about my body. I allowed myself, I was going to say I allowed myself to be brutalized, but that's not true. But I allowed experiences, I put myself in places that were dangerous because I felt I was unworthy and I deserved everything that came my way. That was taught to me through religious doctrine and then elder reinforcement. It took a long time and rebellion to find my own voice with that. And I have struggled on and off with my Catholicism, with religion, for a long time. And so it's one of those things that we have to discern what resonates with us, right? And I think for a long, long time, and I've said this before on the channel, I was a little girl and we lived in a remote part of upstate New York, not way up Syracuse, Buffalo area, but out of the city in the country. And I would sit on our stoop and I always had a beautiful shot of the moon. And I'd be like, please just take me back. Please just take me back. I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. None of this is resonating with me. It doesn't make sense to me. And yes, people are projecting. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. So I think that one of our challenges, or my challenge, right, is to believe and feel and respect my own voice. My voice has meaning. Ooh, baby, it's a wild world. Yes, it is, sister. Um, and I think by using our words, by being more aware and cognizant of what we are saying, you're from Lake George region. I used to vacation there. The one or two times my family went, there was like we inundated a whole bunch of Italians took over Lake George. And yes, I loved it. Um, so I want us to just respect our inner voice, our inner knowing. Wait for what feels right. And if at any point something is coming at you and you don't know how to respond, step back. Your response is, this isn't, they're not, they're talking to me, it's not about me. Odds are when someone's being negative, and who was it that just said projecting? I think was it Karen? Somebody said they're projecting. Who was that? Tina. Um, when people are coming at you, they are projecting more often than not. You are a mirror to them and their situations and their words and their attitudes. So that's the challenge I think that each of us has to face is being rooted, grounded in the earth, literally imagining our feet being roots in the earth and strong and standing tall, and knowing that we are valuable, that we are worthy, and that if stuff's coming at us, we can use our branches to just stop. That's not mine to take. I'm not owning that anymore. I think as an empath, when I was a young person, I took everything on. And I always felt the weight of the world literally on my shoulders. I would sob at someone else's trauma. And I would take it on and I would pray and I would pray and I would pray. And I think what I've learned in the bubble of being grounded is I can have compassion. I can have empathy. I don't have to own it. It's not mine to own and fix. I'm just a safe space for you here. I'm a safe space for someone. And if you have to throw, word vomit at me to make yourself feel better, that's about you. But don't be surprised if I put up the stop sign and say, that's not about me. So turn that around. And, I'll find a kind way of redirecting someone, but I am not going to own that. And I have a friend who talks to priests on a regular basis. And I said, I wish I had the language to go back to them and say, do you truly believe some of the stuff that you say? I'd be curious. Because what you're saying and what you practice and then what you do as a response, hell to the no, you're not really following what you're teaching. So shouldn't that be a warning signal? And I'm not saying not to follow. People need faith. I have faith. I have faith in goodness. I have faith in me. I have faith in the love that I think we all can share with each other. And I've talked about this before, and I'll continue to talk about it, as we all outstretch our arms and we hold hands with each other. Whether you feel like you're singing Kumbaya or you're just putting out into the world that love. I was part of a Reiki community for a while, and one of the things that we did was we all were to imagine ourselves standing tall wherever we were. We didn't hold hands, but we outstretched our arms, and all of us were to imagine ourselves just radiating light, love and light off of our body to everything. And eventually it was around the whole world, right? The earth. And imagine us just pouring that love, and until there was enough of us that surrounded the earth, outstretched our arms with love, radiating love. And I still hold that vision today. Um, and I still put that out there when I see the world's in chaos. I still put that out there when I feel like I'm in chaos, because I need to feel enveloped in love and light. And sometimes it just has to come from within. Sometimes there isn't someone here to tell me everything's going to be okay. And maybe everything isn't going to be okay, but that I'm loved. And that no matter what, I'm not alone on this journey. And, being a Gemini, I have multiple personalities. And I do believe that I support myself now. And hell to the yes, I would love to have more of a core group of people, which is why I'm on YouTube creating a new community. And hopefully in love and in light and in respect, which is what we've had today. And I thank you so much for that. I'm so glad you guys were here for this chat today. Some of you I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, Ben, even when people insult you, it's the world that hurt them. And our response, or at least mine, used to be to come back at them. And I was good at hurting people back, but it didn't make me feel good. And then I just took it because I didn't know what to do with it. So I think, yes, I agree. I think that we all can be and are better people, and especially being in this community because we talk about it, you know? And yes, Lindsay, it's a good reflective idea if things are calm enough to wonder out loud with them their idea of how they would feel if the roles were reversed. And I think that's a teaching opportunity, but people aren't always ready to receive the lesson. And I would almost want to say, wow, you may want to listen to those words back and how they're coming at you rather than at me, and anyway, Truth Wave does do that. He has the outstretched of hands and everybody holds hands. And I think that's very powerful. That was not how I was originally introduced to that concept, but yes, he does it twice a day, and it looks like he's going to be doing some other amazing things coming in the future. And I think that our age, as we grow, as we morph, as we evolve, even for the youngins, 20s and 30 somethings, if you're listening to all of this, you're evolving, and you want to evolve, and you want to elevate yourself to your higher self. You want to connect more. What's the positive? I'm envious that at 35 you're figuring this out, and it took me a long time to figure this out. It took me into my 50s to really, sink my teeth into this. And now being in my 60s, I'm watching the clock tick, and I am not going to wait till I'm on my deathbed to go, oh, light bulb moment, shoot, bye. I want it before then, and I'm in it. So, yes, I'm a Gemini. And I can be high and low in the same 15 minutes. But I love deep, and I love hard. And when I am sad hard. When someone hurts my feelings, it hurts hard. And what I'm learning is, and this comes back to Ben, when someone hurts you, it's not really about you. And that's from the Let Them theory. That's from the Four Agreements. That is from so many wise teachers before me. That is from Dr. Mikao Usui, who didn't create Reiki, but who taught and expressed what he learned from Reiki. I just think that there's a lot of positivity out there. We have to want it. We have to want to respond to it. We want to have to tap into it. Um, I just saw something. Hold on. I'm catching up. The scrolling through the comments is a little hard at the moment. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks pretty good in the comments. So we are past 6 o'clock. And I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank those of you that I don't always see on my channel for being here. I'm so blessed that you joined us today. I hope you found this conversation at least interesting, informative, engaging. As always, I send you with love and light, with healing, with compassion, sprinkled with joy and laughter and lots of giggles. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you here live. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you have not. And for those of you on the replay, thank you so much. And feel free to put some comments in if you found this conversation, of value to you. It means a lot to me. So I bless you. Until next time, live the dreams, people. Thank you.
First time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the common tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I want to do. I know what I want to be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny, with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the support